This city doesn't hand out respect. It watches. It waits. Then, when you've proven it, it remembers your name. And once it does, you don't need to talk loud. You just take your seat back here and tell the truth. How you doing today, Mike?
All right. Sunglasses okay?
Yeah, absolutely. I always wear sunglasses. I actually have a weird light sensitivity.
I'm a little sensitive too. I had my lenses replaced last year, and since then, that thickening that you normally get as we get old is gone. These lenses are crystal clear. So,
Oh, awesome.
yeah, I'm always.
You know, you're the first person now since our rebranding. You know, I'd mentioned, I think in earlier episodes, I couldn't get a URL anywhere remotely close to rideshare,
Yeah.
which is what I wanted to call this. And so instead, we are going with backseat ballers. And so I think the sunglasses, the hair.
Yeah.
I think you're.
Yeah.
I think you're appropriate for the first backseat ballers episode.
Excellent. Although you've never seen me shoot a jump shot, and that's usually not very pretty.
Well, no, yeah, not ballers like basketball, but more like ballers like isn't there an HBO show Ballers and they're all just like successful?
I think so.
Is that
Yeah.
more? I think that's more what we're trying to.
That's what we're going after.
That's what we're going after. So yeah, so here I'm going to back us out of here, and then we'll get this conversation on the road. And if I need to do anything with the AC, just let me know. It's interesting. This is the first day it's really been warm that I've been filming one of these.
Such as it is.
Yep. Yeah. So I got to tell you something. So I think I'm really excited about today, and I'll tell you why. Oh, and I'm going the wrong way. And I'm trying to figure out how to do this more often with future people. But having gotten to go to lunch with you, and then having gotten to go see your band, the After Party, perform, that really, I think it was just really awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate you coming out. We had a good time Saturday.
Yeah, you did. You're quite the performer, buddy.
I wish I had a little more room move on that stage. It kind of shackles me a little.
Does it? Does it?
Yeah.
So, and I got to tell you, the neatest part for me. So, I got divorced a couple years ago, and I've been dating somebody now for like 10 months. And I feel like the longer I've been dating her, the more other people who are happily married I'm meeting. I feel like, it's kind of like that whole thing, you buy an orange car and then all of a sudden you see all the orange cars.
Yeah.
I feel like previously it's like all I ever saw was everybody else who was miserable in their relationship, right? And now it's like I feel like I'm getting to see people who are not miserable in their relationship. And it's kind of a neat thing. And watching you and your wife interact while you're performing, it's awesome.
Yeah.
That was my favorite part of the whole thing.
Yeah, it was interesting you pointed that out because I told her that Sunday, and I'm like, that people ask us a lot, what's the secret to 35 years and how does it work and all of that. That's just what you saw is what we are, and we're best friends, and it took us a long time to grow up, and not take everything seriously and personally, but as you mature together from we were young when we got together, and so we just kind of grew up. And I kind of miss being in a band with her, by the way. But
she used to be in a band with you.
Yeah, for about a decade between Kansas City, Tampa, and North Carolina. But as soon as we got back here, she got gobbled up very, very quickly. And she's in a great band and having a good time.
Oh, she's in her own band.
Oh yeah, she's in a band called the Suburbans. And
no way, I've gone and seen the Suburbans.
Yeah. These they're great.
Isn't Sander in the Suburbans?
No,
not Sander. Not Sander. The guy that does KC Design, the magazine.
Keith Sorrow. Yeah.
Keith.
Yeah, Keith does KC Design magazine.
Yeah.
He's one of the founders. He's the bass player, and yeah, he's a great guy.
No way. That means I've seen your wife perform before.
You probably have. Although a lot of times, if you're not toward the front, you can't see her because
She is tiny.
she's very small. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun sized, I like to call it.
Yeah, she absolutely is. But yeah, so just getting to watch it come up, and when you'd lean forward, and she, you'd both be working the mic together, and yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was the neatest things I'd seen in a long time.
Yeah.
And so 35 years of marriage. Right?
Yeah, 35 years together. This summer will be 33 years since we got married.
Okay, all right. And so this is one of the. I think this might be a good angle for this conversation, because when you own your own business and you're trying to do your own thing, all of life has stress, right? All of life brings challenges. I don't care whether you own a business or not, but I do feel like the two hardest things to ever pull off in this life is marriage and owning a business.
Yeah.
And you talked about being able to be best friends and grow up. And so, like, what was it like in the beginning? Like,
This is new for us, right? So I did I'm almost a stereotypical person who bought into a franchise later in the game, right? There's a reason why when you get to a certain age and level of corporate experience, the business brokers and the franchise brokers, they start in on you because they know you're getting tired of corporate America, right?
gotcha.
Not that I am unappreciative of all the opportunities that gave me. I work with great people and interesting businesses and got great experience. But 2 years ago, almost 3 now, I kind of went home. Things were a little challenging where I was working in the corporate world and assessed if I could do it for another 4 or 5 years and then do something else after. And so I just went home and said, hey, we can hang out and try to hang in there for 4 more years and then buy a business or start a business or something. I said, or we could just do that now. So Shannon would tell you that 60 seconds later, her heart started beating again. And then we decided to go for it. And, we had been gone from Kansas City for 8 years, and we did our walks around the neighborhood and where we were living in North Carolina and started talking about it more seriously. And she looked at me, she said, well, then we're going back to Kansas City, right? And I said, well, I hadn't really thought of it, but it made a lot of sense. So we started this business, opened up 8 months ago, and it's all the joys of starting up from kind of scratch.
Yeah.
You get a brand and you get some help from your franchisor, but you got to kind of go figure it out, which has been really fun, highly stressful. And I think to your point, learning right now, Elliot, how to manage that, how to manage can I shut it off? We have had a 35-year agreement that at 9 p.m.,
Okay.
everything else stops. So the housework stops, the work stops, everything else stops. And at 9 p.m., that's where the two of us
Oh, that's genius.
set everything else aside. And if the dishes are sitting in the sink, then they wait until the morning and we get up and do it that day.
Yeah.
And we've stayed with that even as empty nesters, which we've been for 10 years. So that's proving a little challenging when you wake up now and running your own thing at 4 a.m. and you're trying to figure out how to fix your digital marketing or reschedule your things and how to deal with all that stuff. So, but it's fun.
So leading up to that, would you say like you were a pretty, like, I don't want to say there's typical because I don't know that there really is typical, but like you grew up, you graduated high school, you went to college, you got a degree, you went to the corporate world, and that's what you did up until you decided to buy into a franchise and become a free range chicken, or what?
Yeah, I think pretty much that. We had children, started having children young, got married young, and I had in mind, I think, to go to law school.
Okay.
Until I took a constitutional law class in my undergraduate program and realized there's no way I was going to read all that much. I didn't want to do that amount of reading.
Yeah.
I have a hard time sitting still.
Yeah.
And so I had an accounting degree, and I just ended up landing in a good spot in my first job in the corporate world. And my career, you just, wherever you start, a lot of times you don't stay with it, but sometimes it's defining. And for me, I ended up in manufacturing company right away,
Okay.
and got exposure on the financial side to manufacturing and operations. And that's
Okay.
just the way my career went the rest of the way. So
Awesome.
yeah, I followed a very traditional path and got my MBA and raised my kids, but they've been gone for 10 years. We haven't had one in the house for 10 years. So we built a portfolio that enabled us to make decisions and lived within our means. And here we are.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of like the millionaire next door mentality, right?
Yeah.
It's just, people that on the outward appearance, I, I use the word average, not as a negative thing, right? But I actually like average.
Yeah.
It's just the average person that's raised in their family. They make sensible, intelligent decisions. They budget. They, you know, exercise some wisdom with spending and whatnot, and they invest and they think long term, and then voila, they end up in a position to be able to go do something like what they want to do later, right?
Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, this move back here was the final step in being completely debt free, and so that was a goal of mine from being a very young guy. Ramsey has his little spiel, and it's not for everybody, but he talks a lot about once you're debt free, it's the freedom to be ridiculously generous.
Yep.
And that's the part I really like about that. And not that using leverage to make money is wrong. A lot of times that can be right. And I may end up at some point using leverage if I open the second one of these locations in the dog training world, then I may use leverage. But
Well, I think something important. So this is what I want to kind of get into here with you real quick.
yeah,
Something important is to like know what your limits are, right? And so it's like right now you are debt free, and so you took this on. Did you? And is your wife's name Shauna?
Shannon.
Shannon.
Yep.
Shannon.
Yep.
Okay, so did you and Shannon sit down and go through worst case scenarios of what your exit strategy is and how far you were willing to tap into your own personal resources before you're going to cut it off? I mean, you achieved something. You got debt free. You built up this portfolio. How much of that are you willing to lose, I guess?
I mean, for us, yeah, we certainly sat down and talked about it a lot and what to do, whether to use debt to start the business or not. We chose not to,
Okay.
but once the business is fully up and operational and generating the cash flow that we think it should, then we may choose to use some leverage and pull our money back out of it and diversify. I mean,
Yeah, but I guess my question
strategy.
is how much of your money are you willing to put into it, right? So let's say you've gone, let's say, a year down the road, 25% of what you had saved up and built up, you've spent, and it's not cash flowing. Is it 25? Is it 30? Are you willing to stake 50% of everything you had going into it on the idea? Have you thought about this? Is this
I have, not in terms of percentages, but absolutely. Like, I'm at the point candidly where, because I've done cash into this and I've had a facility build out and franchise fees and such.
Yeah.
I'd like to not put any more personal capital into it.
Okay.
So I would like to, once I'm cash flow positive, start to take some of that cash back out and again diversify.
Okay.
If we have to, we'll put some more in. I don't think we'll have to, but if we did, we've got a long-term commitment with our landlord and we're committed to the business. So
what was the conversation like where you tried to figure out where your limits were?
I think for her,
like, did you go, we need X amount? I mean, you're not like, I love going worst case scenarios, right? So worst case scenario, this doesn't work out. Would you go back to the corporate world, or would you try something else?
Yeah, we did have that conversation. So exactly, right? So the conversation going into it was, hey, look, let's do it. I'm super risk averse, finance and operations. I can model you a business that will fail, or I can model you a business that will be successful, right?
Yep.
And so,
Yeah. Were you a CFO?
yeah, I was. Yeah.
Okay. All
And
right.
I ended up in operations at the end of my corporate world, but
Okay.
yeah, I've been in finance in that.
Gotcha.
So I could have. I remember very distinctly standing in front of my mirror in North Carolina, and I'd been vetting multiple opportunities, and this one kept kind of coming back to us. And I remember looking at myself in the mirror and say, look, you're either going to have to do it or not. At some point, if you continue to just analyze and build the model and play with the model, you'll analyze your way out of it, or you'll just analyze your way into nothing, right? You know,
Yep.
the paralysis by analysis,
Absolutely.
right? And so I've never been one by nature who would just say, let's go for it. I admire people who everybody looks at them and they say, oh man, look how successful they are. I say, yeah, they don't tell you about the 7 businesses they started first that all failed. And they just kept on a new idea and they kept thinking about new ideas.
Yep.
Or, you know, they've done 7 businesses, 4 were successful. They harvested those and they just, another idea came their way, right? I admire those people.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I did. I stood there and I said, just do it, right? Figure it out. Simple enough business model, just go execute it. So that's kind of where I got. We talked about if we lost everything that we have put into it, we would still be fine.
Okay.
And so that was sort of the security blanket.
Yeah.
Is yes, I could go back into the corporate world. I do some fractional work, some consulting work on the side now.
Okay.
That helps supplement things. So we're fine.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. All right. So what's been your biggest surprise in the last 8 months?
I thought there might be more price sensitivity in our business. You know, people have a lot of things to spend money on. It's definitely a discretionary category, right?
Yep.
Training your dog.
Yep.
I think people are used to some of the big box models that are giving it away.
Our camera guy, when he showed up, he got really excited. He saw the things on your window.
Yeah.
Obedience and agility, and he thought, he totally was thinking you guys were a very different kind of business, and then it dawned on him it's for dogs.
That's for dogs. Yeah.
I was like, well, now that you mentioned that, maybe it could be for dogs during the day and couples in the evening.
Well, could be. You know, our motto, or the brand's motto, is we don't train dogs, we train the people who love them. So
there you go.
That's where we are.
There you go.
So I think that you know, from the business side of it, I thought there might be a little more price sensitivity.
Okay.
But I think people understand the value.
Yeah.
And you know, we're providing a unique approach to it and a different experience. We're not expensive, but you know, YouTube's a competitor these days for all of us, right?
Right.
So,
yeah, everybody.
It's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everybody can do it on their own. Just go watch a video.
Yeah. And for as many people who have been price sensitive at the onset, there have been just as many people who have bought their second round of 30 classes, right? Because they're having such good results and they're having such a good time and
That's
they see
awesome.
the value in it, right?
Yeah.
So anyway, that's been interesting. Personnel, you know, that's what a lot of the franchisees have struggled with.
Yep.
I went with I think a very different approach off the start.
Okay.
I hired 4 full-time trainers,
Okay.
guaranteeing them 40 hours a week.
Okay.
I provide 90% of their healthcare costs.
Oh, wow.
And that's a philosophical thing for me, honestly, because I lean to the right politically. And by that, I mean, I think big government versus free market. I lean more towards free market, right?
Yeah.
But having said that, if I'm going to take that approach and not be in support of a nationalized healthcare system,
you gotta.
then people have to have access to healthcare and health insurance, and it's my
Absolutely.
responsibility. So can't have it both ways, which is say it's not, we shouldn't do it with the government and then not provide it to an employer. So,
Absolutely.
So that was our point of view. So
I love that.
We've had 0 turnover. I think everybody's happy there.
Yeah, you're doing right by people, right?
And we're trying to treat them right. I try to never leave. I have all female employees. The dog training business is very female dominated.
Yeah. Have you
especially.
created any DEI programs to try and
We have
get
not.
men into those
Um,
positions?
I actually have this great client. He's a very impressive. They're a very impressive young couple,
Okay.
mid-20s. She's in her first year of med school.
Okay.
He's a tech guy for somebody, and he played football at Indiana State.
Okay.
So he's a 6'7". I don't know how.
Jeez.
He's a big man, big
Yeah.
black guy, and he's wonderful. They're great. And so I told him, I said, "Hey Trey, man, I need you." I said, "I need more men to realize that this is a good investment." Men tend to come in and think my dog will listen to me, and I'll
Yeah.
jerk his collar, and
Yeah. We
swat
go to,
him on the backside.
yeah, we go to brute force first
Yeah,
instead of
right.
intelligence.
And so getting the guys that get it to be ambassadors is important to me, actually, because when they do get it, then we're trying to move most of the industry towards the positive reinforcement model.
Yeah.
Without judgment,
Oh yeah, no. I mean, I
any
told you,
judgment.
I occasionally breed Airedales, and until meeting you, and I don't know. I mean, I'd be open to
Yeah.
doing it differently, but I wouldn't even sell one if somebody wasn't willing to use a shock collar.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even sell one of my dogs, because ultimately I believe an obedient dog is a happy dog, and if you have control of your dog and your dog obeys you, you're less likely to dump it off at a shelter.
Yeah.
Right. And I didn't know, I'm not equipped with the knowledge or the know-how to get an Airedale Terrier to listen to a word coming out of your mouth.
Heck yeah. I mean,
without a shock collar. So
well, you're absolutely going to get your dog's attention with a shock collar. They are effective, but it's much the same approach to any other behavior. The canine behaviors operates in the same kind of quadrants that human behavior does, right? It's all the same science, and you can certainly get your kids to listen to you by beating them.
Yeah.
Or you can give them skills that they can think for themselves and develop into healthy adults, right?
Yeah, so absolutely.
Sort of the same deal.
Yeah.
And heck, I put a shock collar on my first dog 20-some years ago.
Yeah.
Because the dog would run out into the street, lovable little Bichon Frise, run out in the street, and I went to Petco, and they're like, yeah, put this collar on him.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, ended up in the drawer, but I mean...
Well, in all fairness, I've put a shock collar on myself.
Yeah.
Just to see what it was like.
See what it's like, yeah.
Holy heck.
Yeah. So anyway.
Probably not best to start on the highest level. Let's just put it that
know,
way.
that's not a good idea. So it's fun. So the employee part's been good, I think, and the business side has been good. It's really just been demand generation like every other company. You got to get people in the door and get them into the program and make them happy and get renewals and all those things.
So what out of all the different franchises, I mean, I'm sure, did you research a bunch of different franchises, or you just love dogs and you like training people to do what you want? So you thought, I'm going to train dogs. What was the...
No, I set out for a business model really more than anything else.
Okay.
So I didn't want to be in the food business.
Oh, heck yeah.
For obvious reasons.
Yeah.
But some people love the food business.
No, people do, but...
I'm not a foodie, so I don't really care about food. I'm not a big fast food guy, so I certainly don't want to buy a fast food restaurant.
Yeah.
So
my first business mentor told me, never get into restaurants or gyms.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's one of the big gym companies has got a good model that they've figured out that works. And they keep their subscription prices low and probably have 40% attendance of everybody who's given them $20 a month or whatever, right?
Wow, that's high.
Right, think about that, right? So now you're getting $19.99 or $29.99 a month from somebody. They don't come very often. Then they realize that they're not coming, and they look at how little it costs and like, oh, you know what? Rather than cancel it, I'm just going to start going again. Yeah. And they come back in for a few weeks, and then they go back home, right? Yeah. And so, that residual never really ends. Yeah. We don't operate on that model, but I think that's that one big gym company that does that very, very well. Yeah. Yeah.
That's cool.
So, yeah.
So you were looking for a business model. What specifically, what about a business model was it that you were looking for?
A limited number of employees.
Okay.
It's going to sound terrible, but I'm
I love it though.
I'm from Chicagoland, so I kind of lay things straight out for you.
Good.
Everybody's high all the time now,
Yeah.
and there's so much social anxiety and anxiety that it's just scared me to try to put together a 40 to 50 person employee
Oh
business
yeah.
and have to spend all of my time worrying about the people that can't come to work,
Yeah.
too stressed out or whatever.
Yeah.
And that's proven to be, not with my group, but it's proven to be an issue, right? And
Yeah.
so I can operate this business with a limited number of employees, and that's what I was looking for. I had gone down the path with one that I thought was a good model, and I could have gotten it cheaply enough to get a good return, but it was going to be 50 employees when it was up and running, and of various skills and types, and
Well, I think
it
that's
scared me.
yeah. Well, I think that's genius because that is such a problem. I mean, I always joke that you could get rid of employees and customers, you'd have the perfect business.
Yeah.
People problems, baby.
I've actually, I'm not a dog trainer, so I hired really talented people who love doing it and want to have it as a profession. I love the people. I love my clients. I don't know. It's just been really interesting to watch them grow with their relationships with their dogs, get to know them about, as people. I mean, that's the
Yeah.
fun, that's the fun part for me.
Yeah.
The dogs are great. Everybody loves a dog. Like you stopped in this morning and said hello to Coco, and
Yeah,
she's
yeah.
a cool dog. But
Yeah.
I mean, her owner's got a story of her own, and we've got a common bond and a club that we don't want to be in together, and so that human connection has been, important
Yeah.
and interesting.
So, do you think you've had like if you think back to like your time in the corporate world or personally, have you had experiences that you feel like prepared you for the challenges you've been dealing with? Or, well, okay, so actually, before you get into that, so you said there's the business model and you talked about employees.
Yeah.
Was there anything else that you were looking for out of a franchisee? Well, so why'd you choose to go with the franchise?
I looked at several for sale businesses.
Okay.
That was my first thought, was to buy one from a broker. So
Okay.
I knew a business broker in town. We had actually purchased a business in the mid 2000s, a translation agency.
All right.
And then 2008 hit and everything stopped. And I mean, it was like COVID-like shutdown, if you recall.
Yeah.
And so that we ended up walking away from that. And so I went back through that business broker, and, for the amount of money that I was willing to spend or was going to be qualified to spend,
Okay.
there were some interesting enough businesses. They were all going to require me to go out and borrow money. And I kept coming back to some of these franchise models that were going to allow me to get in for a much lower cost.
Gotcha.
Granted, working capital and all that, because you're not making money right off the bat.
No, you got to do the build out.
With the build out and
You got to
everything
float
else,
employees.
it's been fine. Much less investment than you would to buy an existing company.
Yeah.
And we've been close to cash flow neutral basically for 8 months. So
Oh wow.
we've gotten off to a pretty good start.
Yeah, that's
So,
fantastic.
yeah, right. I mean so that was what it came back to in the end. This was the way to get into a business that, again, allowed us to not use any leverage. And so if we get it up and running, maybe we'll lever it back up. But the only way you're going to get into something like that off the bat now is through the SBA typically.
Yeah, pretty much everything.
And that's 12% interest or whatever it was. So,
something
I'm not
crazy right
borrowing
now.
money. That's credit card rates almost.
Yeah.
So anyway, that's how I ended up there. But this is a nice, simple business model, right? And it leverages nicely. And so we decided to go for it.
Any others that you looked at that like you could specifically state why you chose not to go with it? That would be like a lesson for somebody else who's thinking about something.
I do think you have to feel comfortable with the business. One was a furniture business,
Okay.
but really it's a lending business. It's a same as cash, and so the all the money was made on the financing side,
Okay.
and I just didn't feel comfortable with that. You're selling people a couch for $2,000 and it ends up costing them $3,500 after they borrow the money. Right?
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha.
I think you have to get into a situation where you better know who you are from a character standpoint.
Okay.
And that was not something I was willing to do.
All right.
So I think you just have to know who you are
Yeah.
and assess them quickly and stay in your lane. Be patient.
Yeah.
It's going to take a little while.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we just pulled up to a buddy of mine's business,
Yeah.
Andy Rieger. He owns J. Rieger and Company, which is a distillery established in 1887.
Been here many times.
Awesome. And we're going to go in and maybe grab a bite to eat and a drink,
Okay.
and then carry this on.
All right, cool. They can edit out all the political stuff.
No. This is a no holds barred, anything goes conversation. In fact, the more raw and real, I think the better.
I just want us as a society to be able to think again and not be so emotional.
Yeah. Well, so to wrap up that part of the conversation before we go into business. So I've lived for 3 years in 4 different Middle Eastern countries.
Yeah.
And to be honest, the first time I saw what I saw over there was in the 90s when serving a mission for my church out in Southern California. And what I learned was that anytime, and you also see this a lot in high school debate, all right? And in debate, and this is probably the best way to explain this, you have to have a negative outcome to if people don't do your argument. So if you're arguing for something,
Yep.
this is why you need to do this, because if you don't, this is the negative outcome. What's the most scary negative outcome? And that's the negative outcome everybody will link everything to.
Yeah.
And that's nuclear war. So I watched kids stand in front of me and they try to tell their case was that if the U.S. Supreme Court didn't pass a law limiting what the Postal Service can do with the data gained by scanning the outside of your envelopes, your mail, this would result in nuclear war.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Their leap of logic was that Brazil's Supreme Court mimics America's Supreme Court. Brazil's their bedbasket providing food. Lack of privacy is linked to a destabilization of a society. A destabilization of society results in a lack of production of food. Lack of production of food leads in starvation, famine, and drought and war. And we have nuclear war. And it's like, never mind that none of this in any recorded situation has ever occurred.
Right.
And these laws haven't been in place for 100 years, and it hasn't occurred. That was the case made. And when I was on my mission for my church, I watched regular, I grew up as a Mormon, and I watched regular Christian churches, other Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses, and Catholics.
Yeah.
We were all the devil. And they would literally physically attack you. There was like this whole thing in the 90s with the Harvest Crusaders, the Crystal Cathedral, the Calvary Chapel, the Promise Keepers,
Yeah.
right? And it was like this born again, like revival of sorts, right? And they spent a lot of their time teaching their people that Catholics, Mormons, Jehovah's Witnesses, and whoever the heck else were the enemy. And these people would physically come to altercations with you, right? Then I go over to the Middle East and I see Muslims that believe that our culture will accomplish something worse than nuclear war. Because what's worse than a physical death to a religious person? It's a spiritual death. And if I believe your culture is invading mine and going to result in my kids going to hell, what am I willing to do to stop you? Anything. Well, look at politics in America. If you don't vote to allow abortion, then who are you? Then you're killing women. If you vote to allow abortion, you're killing babies. If you don't vote to have taxpayer-funded school lunches, you're killing children.
Right.
Like everything is this high school debate mentality where I have to, if you don't believe in global warming is the end of the world, right? Every 8 to 10 years, the world's ending due to global warming. It doesn't matter that every 8 to 10 years, the world doesn't end.
Hey, dude, only matters what the Kardashians are doing.
Yeah, and so I just, like to your point, I just think that until people stop trying to claim that if you don't vote the way I do, you're killing someone, you will never take the emotion out of it.
No, you're right. That's my utopian vision, is that we get back to a logically based set of.
Yeah, well, I will tell you, you know what the key to getting back to a logically based, sane world is, right? Kill everybody that's illogical.
Yeah. It's the few rotten 24 million that spoil it for the other 10.
That's my joke. That's my joke. It's the 99% of men that ruin it for the rest of us.
All right, and I believe actually that good men have a responsibility to stop bad men.
Absolutely.
I think we have a responsibility to do that.
I agree 100%. And it requires you to devote your life to being capable of that. Right? Yeah, taking on hard things, taking on challenges. So, but back to business.
Yep.
Well, or more to your life's path that led you here. And I think I asked you if you've had any challenges that you feel like prepared you for this moment. Like what would you say the hardest thing is you've ever done in your whole life?
Bury a child.
You've lost a child.
Yep. I mean, hands down, hardest thing I've ever done.
Okay.
I thought when my best friend died of a pretty severe mental illness.
Okay.
And a suicide that couldn't get any worse.
Okay.
And then 4 years later, I lost a child the same way. So, yeah, I mean, hands down, that's the hardest thing.
Okay.
And, you can deal with it in a lot of different ways. And some people start foundations and whatever. That wasn't our thing. So we looked at each other and said, hey, I remember the night the police showed up at my door. I looked at her and I said, no matter what happens, we're together. This is tears a lot of couples apart, and we're not going to let that happen. And so,
what made you look at her and say that in that moment?
I just knew that it was hard for couples to go through that. I mean, you'd seen it, and
was it watching your best friend's family go through it?
He was a single guy, and so there wasn't, other than his parents, there wasn't anybody there in the same way. But just knowing, having been around people who had lost children and reading and just general understanding, it's really challenging.
Yeah.
Especially and I have friends here in Kansas City who have lost children in different ways, and I can see that their relationships are permanently altered.
Yes.
Yeah. And they can't grieve it the same way. When you're grieving like that, you kind of had to take the approach of get up in the morning and see if she's functional at all. And if she's functional at all, then you can melt. And if she's a puddle on the floor, then you got to buck up and strong. Hang in there, right? Like for each other. So
yeah, like take turns grieving kind of.
But you can't really help each other through it. It's a shared experience.
Yeah, say that again. You can't
really help each other through it because it's a shared experience, right?
Yeah.
So you need outside people. For me, one of the most challenging things was, and I was angry for a good long time, first year or two, because people would call or would run into him like, "Oh, how's your wife doing?" I'm like, "Well, she's awful, miserable as you can expect."
Yeah.
But I said that was my kid too.
Yeah.
And I know I'm a man. I'm supposed to be tough and all those things, but it's just as tough for men as it is. And so I had to find men to And I had a guy here in Kansas City who I was not particularly close with, just a guy that we knew socially. And there's never been anybody in the last 10 years that has checked on me more than that guy. And I don't know why, but he was sensitive enough to understand that it was just something that he'd probably scrolling through his phone every couple of months and saw my name and said, you know, I need to check on him. And we all do that, right? You know, you have that. So anyway, that's it's not even close. That's the hardest thing
Okay.
that I've ever had happen in my life. I don't know that it prepared me for necessarily anything
Is
that I'm going
that
through
so
now,
far
but
beyond the pale and so far out of the norm that there's no like applying any of it to anything else in life, and no, like in your times of struggle in business, relying on some
I think there's
strength
perspective,
gained
Elliot.
or
I think there's perspective, right? Like it's an ultimate shock to the system and a dose of perspective. So, you know, in the corporate world, if you don't make the quarter or whatever, okay. I mean, everybody's upset. You got to give the analysts a bad report. That doesn't matter. Like if the business if the business I started 8 months ago fails, you know, if it were to fail, okay.
Yeah.
Right? Like that, you know, I live in a trailer in the outer places of Alaska right now if I could bring my son back.
Yes, of course.
Right? So you get a lot of perspective.
Yeah.
And so in that way it teaches you some resiliency.
Yeah.
It definitely has taught me that time doesn't heal the wounds, but it allows you to get up and go again, right? Like I still miss my son all the time.
Yeah.
And I wonder what he'd be like at 31.
Yeah.
I think he would have been a leader of men.
Yeah.
But he's not. And so I'm not the first parent, or we're not the first parents to go through it. We won't be the last. I think my daughter's buried 4 high school classmates for the same thing.
Oh my.
Plus a brother, right? Like it's sort of epidemic now, which is sad, right?
Yeah.
Just never happened in the past. But anyway, that's a long-winded answer to the question of
No. But
what's the biggest thing.
So obviously here you are, you're sharing that experience.
Yep.
The hardest experience you've ever gone through in a car with a guy you met a couple months ago.
Yeah.
Did you have a hard time sharing this in the beginning? Is that something you've become more comfortable, and I hate to use the word comfortable, more likely to share as you've gone through life and seen, like, is there a value to you sharing it, or do you feel it doesn't matter?
For me, it's been read the situation.
Okay.
You know, people ask you, how many kids do you have? We usually say, well, 4.
Yeah.
Right. And only when they start asking, well, where do they live? And they start doing the math when you told them you had 2 boys in Nashville and a daughter in Kansas City. And they're like, what about the 4th?
Yeah, you said 4.
Right, then it comes up, right? So.
Well, yeah, but it would be horrible to like not say 4.
No, I mean, we raised 4 children.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. And you to this day, I believe, you have 4 kids.
Yeah. And so, but I have found that people get incredibly uncomfortable. A lot of people get incredibly.
Yeah, because they start asking questions about the 3, and then it's almost like you drop this. Well, the 4. Yeah, like
what are you supposed to say? So you don't lead with "we had 3." Some people do. I have witnessed for sure. Some people make that loss of a child their central thing in life.
Yeah, and I don't.
And they lose in my mind, they're losing the rest of their lives.
Yeah, absolutely.
What did we have? 100,000 knocks on the door plus in Vietnam.
Yeah,
where American families lost their.
Yeah,
just American families, right?
Yes.
Way more than that in World War II.
Yeah.
Like.
Well, I think you hit on something that I think is really important, right? I see people make their identity about things all the time.
Sure.
A mother's child has cancer. The kid becomes cancer free, but that mother can't let that go.
Yeah.
Because all the attention and support that was received while the kid had cancer, it's like, I need that. I got to keep something going in order to keep that coming my way.
Yeah, or
right?
the anxieties of getting up every day wondering when the kid has a cough if the kid's got
Yeah,
cancer again, right?
yeah. Because even though they don't, and they're a cure, you're always in the back of your mind now. They're susceptible to this, right?
Sure.
Um,
Yeah, sure.
I see it a lot being ex-military. I always tell people, like, come home, package up what you did into a neat little box, and bury that shit.
Hmm.
Be proud of what you did, but it is not who you are. And you need to go figure out who you are now without the identity of being a soldier. You can be proud of what you did, but you gotta, it's like it's like the high school quarterback, right?
Yeah.
Who pines away for the days of being the high school quarterback the rest of his life. Like, take your identity, take whatever,
Yeah.
acknowledge the good, acknowledge the bad, box it up,
Yeah.
bury it, and move on. Don't forget about it. Don't disrespect it. Don't not be grateful for whatever positive and negative experiences you came from it. But I just think people making things their identity a lot of times.
And I don't judge that family that starts a foundation and that becomes the big part of their life. If that's what they need to do, that's their thing. That wasn't for me. That wasn't for us. And I don't define myself. I have 3 other children.
Well, yeah, and so if you do, right? I mean, how do you? And I see this a lot. People have a special needs kid, and I always wonder how it feels to be the child of that family that's not the one with special needs, or not the one that committed suicide, or not that, because it's almost like they're all just discarded to a certain extent. Sometimes it appears that way from the outside.
Yeah.
Right.
But take it this way, right? Like, got 2 guys in their 40s, and one of them's wildly successful. The other's just kind of stumbling through life, right?
Yep.
And, they ask them both, well, ask the guy who's stumbling through life, well, why do you think you're stumbling through life? Well, my dad was an abusive alcoholic. And the guy who's wildly successful, and they ask him, why are you so successful?
Because my dad was an
abusive
alcoholic.
Because my dad was an abusive alcoholic. Right?
Yes.
And so all of us every day, right, have to make choices.
Yeah.
And I have to choose. And some days I don't want to choose to get up and motivate.
Yep.
I can tell you for the first couple of years after Aiden died, there wasn't any joy, right? There wasn't a lot of days you just didn't want to. Yeah. We had days when we still lived in Florida, which is where we were when he died. We just ordered a pizza and we sat on the couch and with a pizza box on our legs, right? And okay, that was those days. Now we don't do that.
Yeah.
And so I think we're a flawed and fragile species, as sophisticated as we are, as advanced as we are relative to the rest of our animal mates here on this planet. We're still broken, right?
Absolutely.
The evidence is there every day when you not even watch the news or whatever. You just know that some people were born broken. Some people were broken environmentally. Some people were, I was hardwired for sure to be irresponsible. So is my oldest boy. He's from 2 years old. You knew that that's the way he was going to be.
Yeah.
Right. And so I don't know how all that works.
Well, and so that's one thing I try to tell people all the time. People all the time try to compliment me on different aspects of who I am. And I'm like, you guys, like, I didn't choose that.
Yeah.
I hate superhero movies for the most part.
Okay.
I hate the Spider-Mans, the Superman.
Yeah.
The ones, I'm okay with Batman. He worked for it.
Okay.
He has no special powers.
No special powers, yeah.
He educated himself. He trained himself, right? But these ideas where somebody's some nerd who can't stand up for themselves and whatever else, they get bit by a radioactive spider, and all of a sudden they're brave, they're confident, they're a hero. I hate that.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate it with a passion.
I can see why that, for a guy with your mindset, that would be, that would be tough. I mean, it's nice a fantasy, right? But you'd rather see the guy who,
to me, that's emotional. That's like life porn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it's like, so when people compliment me about things that I didn't have anything to do with the way I am in a lot of ways. I don't know why I'm the way I am.
No, but you do have a responsibility to respond to the way you are and
And
adapt.
I do
and
that.
You can't just be who you are and say, well, hey, I can treat you like a piece of garbage
No,
because that's
no,
just the way I was born.
yeah, no, absolutely
Yeah, you
not.
don't have
Absolutely
that.
not.
That's not the way we can
The
operate.
way I use the aspects of myself, I'm okay with somebody acknowledging because
Yeah,
I try to help people a lot. But I'm just saying, like, there's other things where it's like you're complimenting a characteristic I was born with,
sure.
like that's meaningless.
Yeah, it's what you do with
I'm
that
grateful.
characteristic,
Yeah, yeah,
right?
exactly.
It can be a superpower of sorts. It can be an Achilles heel. And so your job is as a human, is to minimize the Achilles heel and exacerbate the superpowers that you've got.
Yeah. And so, do you feel like this tragic experience in your life? What do you think it helped your wife and you as a relate? Because I watched you two, like I said, this last weekend, and it made me so happy to see people who've been married for 30 plus years. Like, I work with a lot of people that are older and have been married for a long time. And the sheer disrespect they level towards one another, they will literally in the same breath talk about how proud they are of having been married for a long time while completely shitting all over each other.
And I mean,
And I'm like, you're not bragging about something worthwhile or worth having.
yeah, it's like you just have a fortitude to stick in there with
Yeah,
something that's bad.
yeah. Okay, so I
Or
like
the
being,
the
yeah.
unwillingness to make it better.
It's like,
right?
wow, you want me to pat you on the back for you enjoying being waterboarded?
Yeah,
Right?
I do not think it made us stronger necessarily. I think that foundation was already there.
Okay, and just equipped you to handle it and not have it tear you apart.
I think we were equipped to handle it, and I think I mean, the early days for sure. I mean, we just couldn't support each other very well.
Yeah,
And so, my tendency is to, like a lot of men, I think, invert, right?
Yep.
Go introspective.
Absolutely.
And introverted I think is the word I really want. And that's not very helpful, if you know the love languages stuff, right? My wife's love language is pretty balanced, but words are important to her, right? She
Yeah.
wants to hear that affirmation.
Yeah.
That's not a strong suit for me as typically as a man, even though I can talk, but and so you gotta try to give people in your life what they need.
Yes.
There's a great test, in the corporate world. You take the DISC assessments and you take the Rorschach or whatever, all those different.
Yeah, my favorite's the Colby. Have you ever heard of the Colby?
Yeah, I have. There's one. It's called the Berkman profile.
Okay.
That's the one I've liked the best out of them
Okay.
all, because the point of that is you would take it and I would take it, and it would give us our own individual assessments, but then it would pair us up.
Yes.
And say, hey, Mike, you have to work with Elliot every day. He's the sales guy. You're in finance.
Yeah.
These are the things that cause Elliot stress.
Gotcha.
Tedium,
Yeah.
filling out lead lists, all of that stuff, right? Right?
You sure you're not a shrink? You're summing me up pretty quick.
Yeah, exactly, right? So the point of the Berkman was to say, okay, here's how you need to interact with Elliot. And Elliot, Mike likes order and precision, and you just throwing out a range of $3 million one way or the other, it doesn't work for him. Right? You're going to have to meet each other in the middle.
Yeah.
That's kind of the way life should be. So.
Yes, I agree with that.
Yeah. So I think that some of the things that happen in life probably have prepared me now to do what I'm doing, in that one of my core things in setting out to buy a business, start a business, in this case, start this dog training business, is to create a great work environment for what is a limited number of employees, but I want this to be a great place for them to come to work.
Yeah.
I want them to be treated well. This is a rare exception today because we have an illness, but this is as long as I've probably ever left an employee in the store by themselves.
Oh, wow.
I have all female employees. I don't want them there by themselves.
Yep.
Right. It's risky. And like I said, there are bad dudes out there.
Yep.
And it's our job to protect them from that. Right.
Yeah.
And so I really I think foundationally it set me up to approach this business as treat the employees and the clients right, and the money part of it will take care of itself.
Yes.
Right?
No, I love that. And you've been very intentional about that in every conversation I've ever had with you, from
Yeah.
what you were saying about healthcare or whatever.
Yeah.
So this might be early on, but for these thoughts, but when you went into this business, were you also taking into consideration your exit strategy down the road?
I do. Yeah, I absolutely did. So I bought the rights to 2 locations.
Okay.
So I'm 8 months into the first one. I should be making a decision on the second one this year.
Okay.
So once we get a little more consistent results, then we have to decide on where and if and when to go forward with the next one.
Okay.
So really the exit strategy is to build both of them up into profitable locations,
Okay.
hire someone to run it for a few years,
All right.
and then it'll either be a leave it alone and let it be a passive investment and income
lifestyle
stream,
company.
or package it up and sell it. It would be awesome to be able to figure out a way to put it in the hands of the employees if they were interested, and give them something that they could have some equity in down the road.
Yeah.
None of the ladies have any business experience or a whole lot of business sense, frankly.
Yeah.
Not picking on them that way. They
Yeah.
just don't,
Well, yeah. If
they don't have that. They don't have that background.
in order to get it, you got to devote your life to it, right?
Yeah, and they really want to be great dog trainers, right? So they want to get all the education they can get, and they want to do that for a living.
And the odds are, if you're a great business person, you're not a great dog trainer. If you're a great dog trainer, you're probably not a great business person.
It's why I don't train.
Yeah.
So
no, you have
some of the franchisees are definitely owner operators, and they do a lot of training. And I think some of them are struggling to manage the business side.
I guarantee it.
Right. And so you got to go one or the other. I think really you have to go in all in and be the head trainer and run the training side, and hire somebody to run the business.
Yep.
For me, I spend 80% of my time on demand generation and follow-up, and then operations and finance and that, I outsourced my accounting and those types of things, even though I'm an accountant.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's super smart too.
Yeah. I mean, for what I pay, I have a great bookkeeper, and what I pay her every month, if I can go sell 2 dog training packages, I've more than paid for her.
Yeah.
Right. And I wouldn't be doing a very good job because I'd never get to it.
Yeah. Well, it's the old, the guy that does lawn care is a crappy lawn. The guy that paints houses, his house is unpainted.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So awesome. Well, we are back at your place. We're going to do a quick little shoot in there if possible.
Okay. Yeah, we should have an intermediate obedience class going on right now. So these will be some higher level dogs.
Awesome. And then I'm going to introduce you to a good friend of mine. His name's Elijah.
Yeah.
He founded an organization called the I Am Foundation. And one of the things that we do, besides share and impart like our life's journey and information and lessons learned and experience and all that stuff, is we also share our money with the next generation. You talked about this actually, right? The 20 and 30-year-olds who are going to come up and replace us, right? And so the I Am Foundation works with disadvantaged youth and teaches them leadership, etiquette, pairs them up with business owners for internships over the summer, which is my favorite way of people learning. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I picked Elijah and the I Am Foundation. So we'll do a quick little walkthrough of your business here and introduce you to Elijah.
Yeah, I'm excited to meet him. It'll be great.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. Let's do a quick, you walk us through here. Tell us what's going on.
All right.
I love your board over here with all the chalk on it.
Yeah, this is something the brand was insisting on, was having the chalk wall. So you see the schedule.
So this is where you post your classes.
Yeah. So you can see the different, we operate a little differently than most of the training organizations in that.
These are all the times I'd want to bring my girlfriend.
Yeah. She'd like to bring you here. I don't have a remedial obedience class for you.
That's right.
Maybe puppy training for you. Take you all the way back to puppy.
Right.
Yeah, you don't have to come at 6:00 on Tuesday night for 6 weeks. You can come to any of those slots. So it works pretty well.
Now, where do you get the rescue dogs from?
So we've really developed a nice relationship with a couple of the rescues in town. Lucky 13 is one that's been great. My wife and I have helped them get a dog adopted out to my sister-in-law and brother-in-law in Northern Illinois.
Okay.
They were looking for a dog, so we took one up there to them. That was a lucky 13. We give free training to active fosters.
Oh, cool.
So if you're fostering a dog through Lucky 13 and the dog's having some struggles,
They get to
we
come
can
here.
help. They can come here for free.
That is awesome.
So
It's like a good way to give back.
Well, it doesn't cost me anything, and it helps get that dog adopted.
Yeah.
Because now, if you want to adopt a dog, and I'm the foster owner, you can say, "Hey, look, I've been taking this dog to Zoom Room for 5 or 6 classes, and really gotten him settled down."
Yeah.
Because it's like a human foster situation.
Yeah.
I have an adopted child, and I got him at 3.5, and I can tell you he came with some baggage.
Yeah.
Right. He came out of the state system. When a dog comes out of a foster or a rescue,
Very
they've
similar.
been through some stuff.
Yeah.
Right. So a lot of times this can be helpful to them. So we've got nice relationships with several.
And as much as you don't like electric collars for dogs, it's even more frowned upon when you use it on a 3-year-old.
Very. Yeah. Yeah. It's actually when they're 13. That's teenagers. Right?
All right. So what else? So we got a store.
Yeah. Well, small retail, all high end stuff. So we don't try to sell what you're going to buy at some of the bigger box stores. Really to support our training, and then the gym floor is the whole.
Let's can we go back there and film some of that, or not while they're training? Should we film from over here?
Yeah, she can get up close. She's got a good camera. So this is an intermediate obedience class, and this is actually a high level test we're giving the dogs today because we're creating a lot of distraction.
Yeah.
They're supposed to be working, and they're very interested in what we're doing.
Right.
But you can see the white one here in the back. He's doing exactly what he should be doing.
That's awesome.
He's just hanging in there with his owner, and the owner will eventually tell him, yeah, it's okay. So if we were to walk back there, people don't understand. Everybody just wants to walk up and pet your dog. That's a really bad idea. You should always ask a dog owner, hey, can I pet your dog? Yeah. Especially if you value your fingers.
Yes. All right. So what's up with the agility? You train dogs for agility competitions?
No competitions. We'll have an agility league of our own, but it's recreational agility.
Okay.
So an agility course like you see on TV is big.
Yeah.
You see those handlers are sprinting way out in front of the dogs. What you need? Yeah.
Please, thank you.
I sure can. Box or does it matter?
That's fine. Thank you.
Yep.
There you go.
So the agility is an enrichment thing. What I thought when I bought this was agility was about exercise, but it's actually about mental.
Yes, mental, right? That's important for dogs.
So if you run a 10-course obstacle, that dog is coming off of that A-frame, and before he even gets to the bottom of the A-frame, getting another cue to go through a tunnel.
Okay.
Getting another cue coming out of that tunnel to go over a jump, and so forth, right? And so they're mentally very stimulated to keep track of everything they're supposed to be doing. I get a lot of pictures and texts and that from clients after even an obedience class, but after agility, or the dog's just wiped out on the floor.
Yeah.
Because they're worn out
mentally.
Worn out mentally,
Yeah.
My lead trainer, Jennifer, she has a great expression. She says, people who just think that they're energetic dog, they just got to run them 2 or 3 miles a day.
No, you got to work the mind.
She said what they're really doing is creating world-class athletes who are still bored.
Yes.
Still bored.
That was my whole problem in school.
Yeah.
Bored to tears.
Yeah, bored, right?
Yeah. All right. Well, we're going to interrupt Elijah here. Yeah. He's hard at work. Yes. Always working, that man.
Got something going on.
Yeah. All right. So Elijah, Michael.
Good to see you.
All right. I'm going to actually just let you take a couple minutes and tell Michael about what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. So first, thank again for this opportunity. First of all, second of all, love the space.
Yeah, it's awesome.
And I got a chance to meet some of your staff before, so this is really cool. The I Am Foundation, we lead, encourage, and motivate others to see themselves greater than their circumstances. Wait, do I need a mic? Or
what?
Do I need a mic?
Oh, yeah, here. Let me give you.
I was like, make sure.
No. I'll just give you mine because I don't need to talk anymore.
Wait, you can hear me in your phone?
But I can hear you, but it'd be better if we can.
Cool.
We can edit and kind of start over with the mic. I just have to.
I thought about it midway. I was like, don't say anything.
I was looking at your shirt. Yeah. Thanks. I did that. Do you want to introduce him again?
Yeah. And where's your mic at? All right, here. I'm gonna stand here in the middle.
Sure.
All right. So now this is my favorite part. I get to introduce Elijah from the I Am Foundation to Michael Bone of Zoom Room. So I'll let you take it from there.
Good to meet you, bud.
Good to meet you. Well, listen, thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you for your donation and for your support. Supporting the kids. The Iron Foundation, we lead, encourage, and motivate others to see themselves greater than their circumstances. We have a unique opportunity to work with Greater Kansas City kids. That's basically the entire county. Well, not county, well, the whole state.
Yeah.
So Olathe, Jackson County, which is really huge, touches at the Lee Summit, Emporia, Kansas, Paola. We work with all at-risk and underserved kids to help them basically find purpose. In our program, we expose the kids to life skills, everything that we wish we knew in high school that, once we graduated college and then graduated like basically post-college, we teach the taxes, the financials, the real estate, and then we bake it into a 1-week development program for spring break kids. So instead of them being outside doing absolutely nothing, we actually teach them leadership skills. How do you live and manage your life? Then in the summer, rotate them between different 4 years, 2-year colleges, expose them to trade schools if they want to work with their hands more than, not every kid wants to go to school, which I'm happy with. And then also connect them with different businesses like yours. Like, if they're interested in, dog grooming or dog trainings or anything like that, we expose the kids to them, provide them with that kind of support, essentially helping students see themselves greater without forcing them into a hole where they can't grow. And I had a parent, we take all kids. Your GPA doesn't matter to me. I just feel like you have so much opportunity and potential. It's just a matter of just someone giving you a chance. But I had this parent. She was like, "Oh, how did my kid get in here? Her grades are not good, like 0.2 GPA." And I'm like, "Well, it's okay. The GPA doesn't define the person, but if you make the GPA the person, then that person will feel like they're nothing more than a grade. And then they will just keep going through life aimlessly seeking a goal they can never achieve because they are not meant to be in that school." So essentially we take those kind of students, detention kids, foster care kids, suspended kids, and we work with them and build a program that helps them see themselves greater. Even take them shopping to get business casual clothing, do an etiquette class with a 5-star restaurant, and they connect them with great business owners that will give them guidance. Not like an eternal guidance, maybe an hour, 2 hours, but them having opportunity to see themselves in different areas, from medical all the way to B2B business. It doesn't matter. We provide that support.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool stuff.
We had a conversation today over in the car and over lunch about the role of government versus getting things local.
Oh, yeah.
And having you here locally dealing with kids on the ground is the way to do it, right? We can affect change here a lot faster than we can from a program in Washington.
Literally. Yeah. And that's why I love the model that we created when I was at college, Morehouse College in Atlanta, 2015. All the college kids worked with me to mentor the high school kids. So every county in Greater Kansas City has a college. We use the college kids there to mentor the high school. Then the high school kids in their respective districts will mentor the middle school. It makes it super easy where it's just a wheelhouse of support. So volunteer based, the kids they want to lead. They just need an opportunity. So we provide them with some curriculum that's accredited through one of the colleges to basically help them become that leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we're happy to support you for
Thank
sure.
You.
So,
Thank you.
We're going to give you $1,000 right here off the bat. And
thank you.
I'm going to strong arm the owner of the other Zoom room in Southern Overland Park, and we'll see if we can get you connected. Yeah.
Yes. And thank you, Elliot.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate today.
No. I'm doing is connect people. So yeah, no, it was fantastic. I really appreciate you coming on and opening up and sharing and being authentic.
Yeah.
And thank you for everything you're doing. And I just can't wait to keep doing these. So
yeah, awesome.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Names get remembered in this city for a reason. What you said in that seat, it's part of yours now. And whether they get it or not, Casey heard you. Backseat ballers, where the ones who built it finally speak.